Good morning. It's Wednesday and it's Christine. How are you today? So I actually, true story, I did this and it was when I first opened my first center 8 years ago. One of the marketing tips I got was I bought a sign and you can put it out in front of your building. And I was new to the area. I moved in from a big city into a smaller town. And I got one of those signs that flip, those flip signs that you can write stuff on it. And I was trying to get kids into the daycare center and I was trying to get people's attention when they drove by. So I actually did put on the sign, satisfaction guaranteed or double your kids back. And let me tell you, it caught a lot of people's attention. And even my parents, that the kids that we currently had as students, they'd come in and they were coming and I'm like, you want two instead of one back? And they'd be like, no, I don't want more than one kid back, Christine. But I actually use that as a marketing tool. I put that sign out. I had so many comments. I think I left it up for a week and then I put out a new quote or something just to build up the business and stuff. But let's talk about satisfaction guaranteed. In your contracts, do you guys have everything written out? In your handbook, is it all written out? Do you have it where that part where the parents can give their 2-week notice at the beginning or the 4-week, or you give the 2-week or 4-week, whatever you choose for your business, because you have to do what's right for you. But I remember having my in-home and I was very fortunate. I watched all my neighbors' kids. I was referred all the time. I had a website. And one of the things was the expectations. I think that's why my in-home went so well, because I did come from the corporate world before I started, was my expectations were set in place. Just like with the daycare centers and with my staff, we have to have the expectations set in place. I had parents that would not even bring kids if they were sick, because as soon as a kid got sick and I sent them home, I was consistent. I was very consistent, so I knew that the satisfaction was guaranteed. So if I had a rule in place and I followed my handbook, I would send the kid home for being sick. And let me tell you, that parent would not try it again. They would take their temperature before they brought them to me because they didn't want me sending the kid home. I remember one time I got some kids from another provider. When I opened up originally, the kids actually came from another daycare provider that closed down. So all 6 were already together when I opened up my in-home. And I'll never forget the time she was helping me with taxes. And she was like, are you kidding me? That parent is paying you that much money a week? That's more than I charged. And she goes, and she's not skipping payments? And I said, no, she signed a contract and I follow it. I follow the contract. She knows that her kids are in a curriculum and she's getting the satisfaction that she wants for being with me. So she actually paid what she thought I was valued. The other provider, she would skip payments and she was always chasing her. But I made sure I followed the contract and I made sure that we both had the expectations met. So satisfaction was guaranteed. And I do joke a lot about double your kids back, especially when you have 3 kids from one family and you've had a day with their kids and you're like, you want to take 6 home with you instead of 3? But anyways, think about that. Think about your contract and think about your handbook. On the bottom of my handbook, I have on every single page, my parent has to initial. And so on the bottom of your handbook, I make my parent initial, they give that copy back to me, and then they get their next copy. So I don't give out extra paperwork. If they're going to sign, they have to give me their check and a temporary admission form, and then I give them their paperwork. I never give out my paperwork until I know for sure they're signing with a temporary admission form and the check in hand. I'm not wasting my paper. That's time and money unless they're actually going to sign with me. That's how I know the expectations are met and everything's satisfied with my customers. So make sure all your paperwork's organized. I have had to pull my handbook that the parent has signed where they've initialed it and sent it to them to get my money if they chose not to pay. As long as I'm giving the services, they owe me that money. And it's in my contract, it's in my handbook, everything coincides together. And that's why I do a temporary admission form for their start date, because that money goes towards their first 2 weeks. But like I said, I joke a lot along with my parents, but when it comes to being serious in my business, they know my expectations. They know what I expect. I'm going to tell you right now with COVID, I'm full with a waiting list. I'm still pulling kids off the list from 2018, 2019. I have 7 parents pregnant and 3 staff. So I don't have to worry about my spots. Even with COVID happening, we stayed open the whole time. But when it comes to consistency, I'm always consistent with my books, with my paperwork, and making sure my parents understand it before they sign. If you hop on today, please say hi to me so I can say hi back. Please share me out to everyone else. I love networking. I have a lot of people I network across the United States with. I network with Scholastic Books. I have tribes out of Oklahoma I network with. I have been to the Early Childhood Conference last year in Nashville. I'm hoping this year in California they have theirs. California is on my bucket list. But I am so excited for everyone to come on and watch. But yeah, let's talk about satisfaction guaranteed. Make sure that you have everything lined up and your parents. I don't do this sometimes. I know other providers do. Sometimes you'll ask what they think about your teachers or the program and what you should improve and not improve. And that's probably one thing we'll probably start doing. I have the Early Head Start grant. So I actually do that a little bit more with the Early Head Start room. Because we do run higher standards, but my other classrooms do run the higher standards. But just make sure your whole program as a whole is everything. It's not just one thing. Make sure you're looking at all the nooks and crannies in your program because everyone has room for improvement. I have room for improvement. I have 25 employees. I'm always training. The more you train your brain, the better you're going to be. But anyways, thank you all for coming on and watching. You have a great day, and I will talk to you later. And again, please like, share, and say hi. I would love to talk to you. Have a great day. Bye.